Hi, this is going to be a tips and tricks in under 5 minutes video. Today's video is about these. These are lead-forming tools. These are tools that you use when you're replacing components on circuit boards that use through-hole parts. There are 3. They come in different sizes, and in this video's description down below I will put a link for a website that you can buy these same 3 as a set. This is a chassis assembly out of a NuTone model 2090, and we're going to be replacing 4 components. There's a little Zener diode, there's a electrolytic capacitor here, and these 2 big 2-watt resistors are all going to get replaced, and you're going to see how the lead-forming tools come in handy. The reason the lead-forming tools are a good choice is everything nowadays component-wise is smaller. So this is a 100 microfarad capacitor at 15 volts. The replacement for it, as you can see, is about 2/3 the size as the original. What we need to do is we have to bend the axial leads. The axial leads are the wires that stick out of each end. We have to bend it to fit into the holes that go through the circuit board so we can solder it on the back. Neatness counts. What you don't really want to do is have like curvy bends and then they dive into the board, and basically it looks sloppy when you do that, like you didn't care and you couldn't be bothered. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to remove this and take it off the board. So I've removed the capacitor from the board, and as you can see, it has reasonably good 90-degree bends on the ends of the leads, so it sits down through the holes in the circuit board to be soldered in place. If we take our lead-forming tool, we can take the original component and sit it down into the different notches in the tool. We can determine that the bend on the leads is 1.35 wide. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our new capacitor, which is smaller, and we're going to sit it in the tool in the same slot. Now this side is for wider ones. We might be able to flip it over and it fits on the back side because it has a narrower channel here, and we're going to sit it in the 1.35 slot, and we're simply going to bend the leads over. Now when we take it out, we have the same nice 90-degree bends on the ends of our capacitor, and it's going to fit back into the holes on the circuit board where the original one came out, like that. Now I'm going to solder that in place and we'll move on to the next one. The next component we're going to replace is D6. D6 is right here. It's a little Zener diode, and it's basically the same idea. It sits flat on the board and it has 90-degree bends on the ends of the leads. I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and we'll get our replacement Zener diode ready to go in. And here's our little Zener diode that we took out. You can notice it does have the 90-degree bends on the ends of the lead. However, when this one was formed, the body of the Zener diode is not centered. In this case, we're going to use the smaller tool, this one, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sit it into the slots until we find where it fits in properly. Since it's offset, it doesn't fit into the channel all that well, but you can still get a very good idea, and this is 0.6, so we'll take that out. There's our replacement Zener diode right here, and we'll set that in place. We'll center it nicely, bend the leads, and now we have a properly bent Zener diode. So I'm going to go ahead and install that, and then we're going to move on to the 2 resistors. So we have these 2 big 2-watt carbon composition resistors, and as you can see, our replacement resistors are very, very much smaller. So I'm going to remove both of these at the same time. We're going to form our leads and put our new resistors in place. Here are our 2-watt resistors that we took out. We're going to take our lead-forming tool. We're going to measure them, and these are 0.75, which is at the very top of the scale here. And since our new resistors are much smaller, we're going to use our second lead-forming tool to put our resistor in and bend it over, and then it will fit into the circuit board nicely and look good like that. So there's one. Here's our second one. I think we said 0.75. We'll bend the second one, and we'll set that in place also. And now our 4 replacement components are in place. We have our 2 2-watt resistors, we have our electrolytic capacitor, and we have our Zener diode down here. And if you look at them, they're all very neat and tidy with nice 90-degree bends on the ends of their leads that actually fit the spacing of the holes in the circuit board. They're not all kind of janky and bent around because they're a little too long or a little too short and don't sit on the board properly. And it looks like someone did a thoughtful and professional job on replacing those 2 components. And that's how you use Leed-Formimg-Tools to improve the quality and perhaps the speed of your work. The 2 red ones are the ones I use the most. If you invest $13 or $14 and buy all 3, it'll cover just about everything that you could ever want or need to do. That's all for today. See you on the next video.